Hi, welcome to Painting with Jasmine Rempel Art. I'm Jasmine and today I'm going to try to create a landscape with birch trees and a snowman. So I'm going to start with the sketch. I'm going to have a horizon line, a hill. I'll do it quite dark so that you can see it well. And I'll have a snow person here. And then actually I think I'll give this snowman a hat. The pom-pom. A scarf. And there we go. And I am going to have some birch trees. So I've decided that I'm going to attempt doing birch tree with some painter's tape. I have a big long piece of painter's tape here. And let's start by having one go up, maybe from about here. There we go, going off the page. And then I have some that is more thin. And I'd like to have some on this side. Starting about the same distance. Maybe going up on an angle. And let's have another one that's the same width. This is all experimental. I've not done this before. Gotta have fun, try new things. And I think with this one I want it a little thicker, so I'm going to overlap two of them. Just not as thick as the first one. So that will work well. Like that. And probably one more, and I think this one is going to be quite narrow. And I'll have it just coming off right from this one here. Nice. Great. Little band of birch trees. Okay, now I have all of this. What I want to do is make sure that these birch trees are really well adhered so that when I put in a background, a sky, there's no run. Good. Speaking of a sky, I'm going to get my palette organized and then we'll do that. All right, I have my card now resting on just a little roll of tape, and I've got it upside down. I'm going to start by wetting the background. Working carefully around my little snowman's hat. tilting the board so I can see where I still need water. Good. I think that's quite saturated. You can tell by the sheen. I don't want it so wet that there's big puddles, and I don't want it so dry that the wet on wet technique doesn't work. It's important to me that the paint runs along the wet paper. All right, I'm reaching in for Prussian Blue. Just going to apply that along the horizon line. And around my little snow guy. Nice. Okay. Now I'm reaching into Permanent Rose. I'm going to put some of this right in this area. Give the look of a little bit of warmth. Maybe there was a sunset recently. Good. And I'm going to put down some kosher salt. That'll give us some snowflakes or some stars, whatever it ends up looking like. Now this needs to dry. Okay, I'm back at it. It's been several days since I have been able to work on this snowman scene, simply because I'm a teacher and it's report card season, and I've been busily writing report cards, so I'm taking a break. So you can see that this salt has taken a nice effect, and I'm going to rub off the remaining salt with this drawing gum. Not drawing gum, rubber cement. Great. Okay, time to paint this little snowman and add some shadows in the hills. So I'm just reaching for my brushes. I've got a whole variety here in a little pot. I'm grabbing 2 for now. I've got here round brushes. I've got a number 4 and a number 6 round. And I'll use these for the snowman details. I might end up grabbing a number 2 as well. I feel like I want to use my kneadable eraser to remove some of these lines. The kneadable eraser is nice because I can mold it into a point. I'm also going to use it to lift off some of the graphite. It's quite dark. All I do is press, do a slight turn, very slight, and lift. There we go. I can still see the pencil lines, but they're not as strong. Okay, I love painting snowmen, so I'm looking forward to this part. I am also in the back of my mind thinking about, what if I masked out this whole snowman and then added some shadow colors through this? But I don't think I'm going to. I think I will work around the snowman. That will be quicker. All right, so I'm reaching into my water and I'm going to wet this bottom area. While I'm wetting it, I'm thinking, where do I want my shadows and my light source? I might enjoy having the light source coming from behind and maybe having the shadow run slightly to the left, or even the shadow straight in front. I think slightly to the left. I'll give that a try. This is not a painting I've done before, so I am experimenting while I create a video. I have done many snow people, so I'm confident in that. All right, I'm reaching here into my colors. I've got this looks like a mixture of Prussian Blue and some Windsor Violet, if I remember correctly. So I'll use this and I'll add a little bit of Payne's gray to it. I just have to get it wet again. And that's the Payne's gray, creating a nice dark value. All right, and this will be good for a shadow. Now, because the shadow's coming mostly from the back, I'm only going to just slightly touch this side, and then I'm going to just slightly touch this side. Oh dear, I can tell I have report card brain. The light was going to come from the back. Let's lift that up. There's a good old lifting technique. When watercolor is still nice and wet, you can lift it right up with tissue or a dry brush. All right, let's wet this again with clear water. And if the light's coming from the back area, then I need the shadow to be in the front. Okay, take 2. I have to say, I have not very often done a backlit snowman. This will be a wonderful thing to give a go on. Great. Just running my dry brush along the side and lifting a bit that color. There we go. I think that'll work. I'll need to do the same in the face. Super. I'll add a color to the hat. I'm reaching for Alizarin Crimson. And I will do wet on dry. I'm still using my number, let's see, 4 brush. It's got a lovely fine tip, so I can carefully paint in my shape here. Let that dry. Okay, I have a feeling that face is already dry. I can probably begin to work on the scarf, and I think I'll use the same color for the scarf. You can't see, but I am reaching for, here, I'll bring it down here, for my Alizarin Crimson again. I was working very hard on report card comments, and I'm almost done. The last thing I need to do is edit them. So I poured myself a cup of celebratory hot chocolate. How fitting during painting a snow scene. Every time I sit to paint, I feel myself just relaxing. It's amazing. It can be stressful doing report cards and teaching at this time of year. It's good, I love it. It's a fun time of year, moving into winter and all that. But it's definitely stressful. And so I can feel the therapeutic effect of painting right now. There was, I did this scarf and it was wet right here. So there was a little bit of bleed, and that's okay. I'll let that dry. I'm going to actually add a little more shadow right here when it's dry, so I won't notice that bit of pink in there. And you might not see it at all since you're looking from somewhat of a distance. Okay, now I'm going to move into adding some shadow to this toque, the toque muff. I will add that Alizarin Crimson with this nice shadow color down here, and with wet on dry, I'll just apply some right in front here. Clean my brush and then soften the edges. my brush and running it along the front again to blend that color better. There we go. Okay, same thing with the snowball, but this time I think I will wet it first. Do wet on wet. And tap in a bit of that shadow color right into there. Dry my brush and bring it out a bit. Super. Super, super. Whole lot of shadow going on. Okay. I'm going to need to blow dry. So I'm going to encourage you to plug your ears. There we go. Now I can work on the face. I'm reaching for a very small brush for the details on the face. This is a 00 Windsor Newton. I have an even smaller one here, and they both have lovely, very, very fine tips. I'm trying to show you, so there we go. And I'm reaching into the Payne's Gray. Spelled P-A-Y-N-E. Apostrophe S. Not that it's a pain at all. It's a wonderful pigment that I use constantly. 2 little eyes. Let's give them a little carrot nose. I'm reaching for Cadmium Orange. Little bitty nose. And a little smile. Who wouldn't be smiling in such a magical place? My pigment was a bit dry. There we go. Super cute. Right, let's do his middle area. Getting it wet first. Avoiding the scarf. We're learning a song right now in my grade 2-3 class called Winter Fun. And a part of the song is the kids singing that we're going to build a snowman. And that line, that is running through my mind. It says we're going to build a snowman 10 feet tall. Kids love that song. I can't wait for them to perform it. There's another line that says, we'll make a pile of snowballs. You better watch out. They love that line too. And a line about hot chocolate, all those lovely winter things. It's fun to teach children because I get to remember the magic constantly. When it snows, they jump up with excitement and rush to the window. It's really, really great teaching kids. Okay, let's now add some shadow to the scarf and hat. As promised, I've got my number 2. And I'm just going to make a very diluted mixture of this shadow color, diluted with lots of water. And I'm just going to run that along the front here. You can hardly even notice, but it's a bit of a shadow. Darkening it up a bit. And in the hat. Not at the very sides because there's some light coming from the back and just illuminating the side there. Sides. Just lifting a bit there. Good. Sweetness. Okay. All that this needs is some buttons and some arms. I'm going to add some more shadowing down here. Wet on dry. Just for this area where the tummy touches the bottom. That's wet on dry. Now I'm taking a wet, clean brush and running it down below it, and I'll soften that edge nicely. There we go. Be careful, so easy to overwork and get a bloom. Fingers crossed I don't get that. If I do, oh well. I am not a master watercolor, nor do I claim to be watercolorist. I've only been using watercolors for a couple of, I'll going on 3 years I think now. But I do sell these cards in a local art shop, and to people who ask me for them. I have a little bit of a local Facebook following. Now I'm enjoying this shadow and this shadow, but not this one, but I'm trying to just take my mind off it. And a bit there too. Okay. I love you, little snowman, even if you have a funny shadow right there. It's too big. We're all unique. Okay, let's let that dry and let's put some color in here. We don't want stark white snow. I'm reaching for my number 8. And that hill in the background, I'm going to have it very dilute with a bit of the warm pink, kind of a purpley pink. I'm mixing the shadow color with some more of that Alizarin Crimson, I should say. And it will be a kind of a light purpley color, very gentle tone. There it is. And where I'm going to also add a bit darker hue down near the edge. There we go. Run it up a bit. Good. Now I'm going to take this same color, Alizarin Crimson, with the shadow color, very, very dilute. It's quite a lovely purpley. And let's see, these are going to need their own shadow coming forward. So I'm not going to want to touch the front area. I'm just going to want to pull some into the back here. Go. You can hardly see it. Oh, I just realized you might not be seeing all the parts of this. Okay, let's zoom out for you. There you go. It's such a gentle color, you may not see it anyway. Tap in a bit more in there. And I'll run one down here. Get more of that nice pink in it. Like that. Taking a wet brush with clean water, running it along that hard edge so that it is not a hard edge. I don't mind it being a little harder here. It looks like a hill, but I'm going to take that off this portion. Good. That's good. Now, this snowman needs a cast shadow. My number 6, Prussian Blue. Windsor Violet. Payne's Gray. Some of that permanent rose. There we go. Pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. More of the blue, I think. Nice. Around that. I like it. I'm going to lift off the tree now. It's ripping. It's okay. Trees have textures. I think I'll pause for a moment and run my blow dryer over this. All right, I ran the blow dryer over this tape, and it's so much nicer to peel it off. Lovely. These are going to be birch trees. So let's paint some birch trees, shall we? Erasing the little horizon line that's in there. Okay, it's been a little while since I've painted birch trees. I'm just thinking through colors. They're fun. I remember enjoying them a lot. Okay, so they're basically stark white right now. The light's coming mostly from the back, so they need to be dulled a bit in color. And I think what I'm going to do with them is get some colors ready. So I want some burnt umber. I want some burnt sienna. Good. And I need Payne's Gray. This would be my 3 main colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my brush I wanted a brush like this, but that was smaller, and it appears I need to buy one. I seem to be missing mine, so that's okay. Let's just use these round brushes. You can do all painting in round brushes. I'm reaching in for my burnt umber. And I'm just going to run it down the tree like so. Trying to be loose about it, random. Using the side of my brush to create these shapes. Do some on this larger tree as well. I'm using wet on dry, and it's nice because it's creating this textured look. The drier my brush is, the more texture I get. I'm going to add a bit of the Payne's Grey now and dry my brush a bit. Run that on. Again, trying to be more loosey-goosey about it. I don't want my textures to be so obviously, what's the word for it, like highly patterned and synchronized, because that's not what it's going to appear like in nature. I'll zoom in a bit for you and watch some of the patterning up close. You can see the rough edges there from the dry brush with some pigment on it. Going into the burnt sienna now. That will give it a nice, it's a different color. Letting some overlap. No problem. I'm going to run down even a bit on some. Switching up the color. Now just the tip of my brush for some line work. I've curved my lines so that I'm giving an impression that the tree is also round, curved. There's such straight edges there that I need to change the feel that it's straight by creating those curves. Oh, you can't see all that. I keep forgetting when I zoom in that you only see a portion. So let's zoom out again. There we go. Now I'm wanting to add some shadows, some color, shadow color in the tree. So to do that, I'm going to go for some of that Windsor purple. And I want it quite diluted, mixing it in with my shadow color. All right, I'd like a bigger brush for this. I'm actually going to use this brush. It's an angular shader, Princeton Velvet Touch. And I'm just going to go like this, up the tree a bit. That's better. Maybe a little bit of a shift of color up here. The shadows aren't all exactly the same color. I'm still curving it a bit as I go up. And I'm leaving the very edges, the two side edges, more white, giving that implication of the light coming from behind. It's starting to look so pretty. I have to decide what it's going to be like in the snow. I'm not quite ready for that yet. Darken up some of these. If the snowman is quite dark, then why wouldn't the front of the trees be? Because they are also white, like the snow. So therefore, I don't want this to be super dark and the trees to be a lot lighter. Wouldn't make total sense, would it? I'm squinting my eye now to get the feel of what it needs and the value of the shadows. Trying to match between the two. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm darkening it up. I like that. Keeping some of it rough. Okay. That's pretty good. I need to decide what I want to be happening in the snow. I need some cast shadows as well. So I'm going to actually take a little break from the from the trees, and I'm going to create some arms. So I've got this nice Payne's Gray and Burnt Umber ready. So I'll use that. I'll even take a bit of that warm Sienna, burnt Sienna. And how do I want his arms reaching up? I don't think so. That's so dark there. So I think I'll just have them going downwards. There they are. Might even be fun to put a little chickadee or a cardinal on those branches of his arms. Let's give him a couple little buttons. Oh yeah. You're just the cutest thing, aren't you? Okay. Nice. Now, this tree is going to need some dark branches. Get that Payne's Gray, that Burnt Umber mixed up nicely. A bit of that Sienna, just like I did for his arms. And I'm using my rigger brush right now, and I'm going to just touch the tip here and run that brush out, turning it and twisting it while it's going. And another branch and another. Just going to And there. Okay, I think I'll have some grasses coming out, just not fully covered. I'm reaching right now for my, let's see what color I'm reaching for. This is yellow ochre. The grass would be dead. So it's going to be yellow with some burnt sienna. Let's just have it coming out here. There. Just popping out of the snow in the foreground. And let's get some darker. I'm mixing some burnt umber in there for some of the grass. Don't want it all super warm. And maybe just a little bit back here even, just quite small. Little grass tuft. Okay, that shows a little bit of something around the trees, and now I want to create their cast shadows. So, around the tree's bottom, I mean. Nice dark shadow color, just like I had here. Maybe a little more purple in it, like I had with the snow person. Snowman. Okay. There. I'm going to sneeze. Oh. Excuse me. Okay. Trying to not be too controlled about it, but I do want them to connect. Put a little here. I'm whispering because I'm focused. I always whisper when I get busy on what I'm doing and want it to turn out. Okay, no more fussing. That looks great. That looks great. It really does. It's turned out so beautifully. I'm just going to lighten this edge here. Not lighten the edge. I ran a bit of my brush alongside it. It just had water on the brush, damp, and it softened that edge. Okay, little snow guy, I know I said I would put a cardinal on you, but I think I'm going to be done. So I'm going to sign this. And then I'm going to add some gouache. Just going to make a dark value for signing. And it's not quite dry enough. I want to sign high enough because sometimes I make prints of my cards, and when I do, some of the edges get lost. So I want my initials to not get lost if the edge is cut off. So therefore I'm reaching for my white gouache on my number 6 brush. Could be any size brush. Making it to a nice creamy consistency, and it's nice and loaded. I'm just going to tap that all over. That one was bigger than I wanted. Lift that one. Oh, happy, happy winter wonderland. A happy snowman in it. Okay. That's dry enough now, I hope. I'm going to sign. Sign, lift the edges, and call this a wrap. A fun wrap. I loved doing this. If you're still with me, please let me know how you felt about the process. And especially if you're doing this, I would just love to hear from you. J.R. Jasmine Rimple. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's lift the edges. Oh no, I've learned a big lesson. Let's blow dry them. Forgive the sound. Good, and lift. And again. And lift. Oh, yay! It's so pretty. Wow. Thank you so much for joining me as I painted today. I hope you learned something new. And if not, I hope you just enjoyed the process. You can find me on Facebook, Jasmine Rempel. If you send me a message, I'd be very happy to respond. Also, Jasmine Rempel Art, Instagram. Happy painting and have a wonderful holiday season, winter season.